Hello everyone, Banner776 here with the new Heroes banner. This is a very long-awaited one because, well, we're starting off with a rearmed hero, but there's something a little special that's being somewhat revealed. Oh, and it's Sonya! Okay, yeah, this is the Echo's music. We're getting rearmed Sonya, a green tome, finally a rearmed green tome. Doing special things, so maybe similar stuff to the Sonya we already know. I know she's a very strong Sonya. Let's take a look, shall we? Okay, Arcane Green Tome. It is the Arc.Caliburnus. I guess they couldn't fit the entire word arcane in the limits of the text they were given. Accelerate special trigger. Cooldown count -1. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants attack speed defense res +5 to unit. Unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. Grants special cooldown charge +1 to unit per attack. Only highest value applied, does not stack, and neutralizes foes' bonuses to attack and res during combat. Pretty standard. I mean, it is an arcane weapon, so they are looking to make it apply to as many units as possible, I suppose, and this is definitely doing that. It's just kind of a bunch of effects that really everyone can kind of use, right? Slaying, yeah, Spectrum +5, guaranteed follow-up attack, special acceleration, and neutralizes foes' bonuses to attack and res, which it's a tome. Every tome is gonna use those stats, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I mean, it's solid, right? It's better than most green inheritables out there. Just the question is, well, it isn't really a question, it's just kind of good but generic. No real specialization going on here. Special Blazing Wind, I mean, sure, why the hell not? The A slot Beyond Witchery grants attack speed defense res +8 to unit. Not during combat either, those are visible stats, those are on the map stats. So great for instance, res checks that you might be forcing people to make. At start of turn, grants special cooldown count -X to unit and deals X damage to unit. On turn 1, X equals 2, otherwise X equals 1. Neutralizes effects that inflict special cooldown charge -X on unit during combat. Okay, so Spectrum +8. A very nice little times pulse effect. Not really a times pulse effect, because you're getting +2 on the first turn, but kind of times pulsing. It's also dealing damage to you, which, since it's just 1 or 2 damage, that's actually good. That's very helpful for a lot of setups. It's the same reason people run the various Bernadettas, for instance. Even having just a little bit of damage on your units gives you the opportunity to use assists, for instance, to get a lot of things online. And then built-in tempo as well, so I guess the idea they've got going for this unit, as from the base kit, is a AoE looper. Very realistic proposition. She does need to wait until turn 2 to get her first AoE off, at least base kit wise, but you can speed that up in various ways. And yeah, all in all, pretty freaking solid. B-slot, Escape Route 4. Remember when I said taking even a little bit of damage really handy? Well, guess what? When unit's HP is less than or equal to 99%, enables Canto 1, and unit can move to a space adjacent to any ally within 3 spaces. Already very good, and if unit's HP is less than or equal to 60%, unit can move to a space adjacent to any ally. This is one of the better. This and WOM4 are incredible mobility skills so long as you can get the HP thresholds online, and guess what? She brings the HP threshold online entirely through her own doing. So, hey, that's great, right? Problem solved. And in the C slot, attack res ploy free. Start of player phase or enemy phase, if any foes within 3 rows or 3 columns centered on unit have a res less than unit's res +5, inflicts attack res -7, ploy, and exposure on those foes through their next action. As I said again, the A slot is granting visible stats. That res check is going to be a very easy one for her to make, especially also given that this is an arcane weapon. It's refinable with stat refines if you want to go that route to give her even a little bit more visible res. And these ploy skills are pretty handy. I mean, they're not kind of globally useful, but they do shut down some of the stronger strategies out there. And honestly, that's all you need. Well, all in all, a very good kit. Escape Route 4 and Ploy 3 are both pretty easy to inherit, so this is a unit you can potentially copy the entire kit from, and in fact, maybe throw an A slot on there as well if you really feel like it. Pretty solid, and I know there's a lot of Sonya fans out there who are going to be very happy to summon for this and to merge her up. Standard wind tome animation, but with a little bit of fanciness added to it. Pretty dang good. A new hero joins the battle. It's Mycen. Not my son, but Mycen.
I am Mycen.
Yep, there he is.
From a humble village.
Old man with lance and famous gold knight. Speaking of, he is a lance cav because, of course he bloomin' well is, armed with the worldly lance. Accelerate special trigger, cooldown count -1. At the start of turn, if units within 2 spaces of an ally, grants defense res +6 and neutralizes foes' bonuses during combat to unit and allies within 2 spaces of unit for 1 turn. Already pretty solid. If he initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, inflicts attack defense -X on foe, where X is equal to 20% of unit's defense at start of combat +6. It makes a guaranteed follow-up attack and inflicts special cooldown charge -1 on foe per attack during combat. Only highest value applied, does not stack. Okay, so a pretty tanky guy here. I'm getting kind of Dusel vibes from this kit, but Dusel in 2023. Honestly, give me a Dusel refine. I'm looking forward to that. Slaying is good. The team support is actually pretty dang great. Neutralizing foes' bonuses. We live in a world where bonuses are kind of safe to apply again. I mean, obviously, penalties are still strong as well with Legendary Robin builds, so those teams are often running bonuses because they aren't scared of panic, but there are also teams that are running bonuses because they have null panic as an option, because a lot of units grant that these days. So what do? We just neutralize them. Simple as. Very good team support there, and it helps him out as well. And then guard, obviously, but a very big stat swing. 20% of units defense +6, and this guy probably has pretty high defense, so 20% of that is gonna add up pretty dang fast. Like, he probably gets past 40 for sure, so that'll be 8. Could probably reach 50 if you really felt like it. 10, no problem. Put in mythic buffs. Maybe 60 is within reach. I think you could reach 60. That would be 12, and then +6 as well, for a total of -18 attack and defense on foe. Not to be messed with if you want to go down that route. The A slot attack defense clash 4. We know it pretty well at this point. It's one of the better options out there for cav units, because they like moving. They like moving around. They like moving around and having stats because they've moved around. In the C slot, Joint Close Guard, which is actually quite funny to see come out this long after Joint Distant Guard. But here it is, Joint Close Guard. grants defense res +4 to allies within 2 spaces during combat against sword, lance, axe, dragonstone, or beast foes. And if units within 2 spaces of an ally and foe uses sword, lance, axe, dragonstone, or beast damage, grants defense res +4 to unit during combat. I mean, it's a handy C-slot filler, right? You don't know what to put on a unit. These kinds of close guard, distant guard skills are just very good for being able to, even if your unit isn't necessarily attacking themselves, you can park them behind one of your tanks and just help out a little bit. Very good things to have unless you've got some specific other goal to be going for. All in all, I don't think this is a groundbreaking unit, but I do love this old man very much. Let's see what he attacks like. It doesn't have any insane mobility or anything. Doesn't have Canto. Sloppy. Very fun. And here is the very special thing I was talking about earlier. So it appears they're called Attuned Heroes. What's that? And we're starting with Triandra. Okay. I thought it was going to be Peony, but I guess we're still on the 3rd unit of the banner, so there is time to surprise us yet. And, well, I would like to start from the top, but I see something very spicy at the bottom there. But I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to ignore it so that you're all kept in suspense until we get there. So Triandra is a sword flyer, almost certainly a dancer, and I've forgotten the name of it already. And was it Attuned unit? There we go. Yeah, whatever that means, because we don't actually know what that means yet. Let's start with her weapon. Flower of Tribute accelerates special trigger cooldown count -1 for foes within 3 rows or 3 columns centered on unit. Deals 5 damage to foe as their combat begins. Effects that reduce damage during combat do not apply, will not reduce foes' HP below 1. Kind of similar to what we've seen going on with Fiery Divine Veins. And inflicts speed defense -5 on foe during their combat. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants attack speed defense res +5 to unit and deals damage equal to 20% of unit's speed during combat. Well, the supportive effect here is the main thing, obviously, seeing as she's a dancer. One thing first, that's a nice big area she's supporting. 3 rows or 3 columns is, I always think of it as the gatekeeper area, but in practice, it's about half of the tiles on the entire map. A bit more than half, actually. Close to 3/4, if you're looking at it that way. It's a lot. So you're going to be able to position her to support most combats you want her to support. And then, at start of combat, 5 damage for free. Just 5 damage. There you go. And speed defense -5. So she is kind of supporting physical units more so than mage units here, but still, speed -5 is helpful for most people. And then she has some effects that are, I guess, kind of useful, but she's a dancer. Their dancer weapons normally aren't built to take combats necessarily. So she just has slaying for herself, spectrum +5, and 20% of unit speed as dealt damage. In addition to, of course, she benefits from her own supportive effects, presumably, because you're not taking a combat with a unit who is more than 3 rows or 3 columns away from you, right? You're a melee unit. They are either right next to you, or they are 2 spaces away from you. And that means they are within your area. Her special dance is the Harrowing Dream, a new dance for Triandra. Grants another action to target ally. Inflicts attack speed defense res -5, guard, and sabotage on foes in cardinal directions of a unit and target ally through their next actions. And the usual dance restrictions apply. Cardinal Direction's pretty good for being able to just spread these things through an entire enemy team. Give me a second. I've got to remind myself what Sabotage actually does. Oh yeah, that's right. It's the one that effectively doubles the penalties on the unit or steals the penalties from a unit within 2 spaces of the unit. So yeah, that's considering she's applying -5 Spectrum anyway. That's handy. Guard is really useful. Yeah, those are solid debuffs from that dance. Now, rest of the kit. A slot, attack speed, clash 4. Clash skills are viable on flying units. Admittedly, she doesn't look like she has any special mobility skills herself, but I mean, you can inherit them on her, and then she will be able to move 4 spaces for a whole bunch of attack and speed. In the B slot, Flow Refresh 4. I thought Flow Refresh was a pretty recent skill. I'm surprised to see it get a 4 skill already. Let's see what it does. If you initiate combat, inflict speed defense -4 on foe during combat, neutralize effects that prevent units' follow-up attacks, reduces damage from foe's first attack during combat by 40%, and restores 10 HP to unit after combat. So they added damage reduction to Flow Refresh. I mean, that's handy. That's very handy. Don't get me wrong. It means that flyers and cav units now have a pretty handy, safe initiation skill in the form of this to, swing into things, get their guaranteed, or well, not guaranteed, but their follow-up because they're faster, survive 1 hit back, and heal a bit afterwards. Just useful things for player phase. Flyers, player phase, calves. I mean, a lot of them already have damage reduction built into their weapons, but still, this isn't bad. And then the C slot, speed defense hold. Yeah. And then, you thought we were done at the C slot? No, we keep going, because down here, this is the X slot. Death Blow Echo. I don't know what the X slot does. I guess we'll find out. But for now, in the X slot, we have this skill. If you initiate combat, grants attack +4 to unit during combat. Okay, not particularly world-breaking or anything there. I mean, it's attack +4. Attack +4 you can find almost anywhere, but it's in a new fancy slot, so who knows, honestly. It could be the most exciting thing ever. I guess we'll wait for them to give us more information on what Attuned Heroes actually do. Speaking of, let's see what Triandra is doing. Yep, she's winning against a Lance Knight. And we get a second one. This is the one we all kind of expected. It is Peony. It is Peony as an axe flyer. Which, honestly, I do very much approve of, going axe flyer mode on this. What does she have? Well, to begin with, the Flower of Caring. Accelerate special trigger, cooldown count -1. For allies in cardinal directions of unit, grants attack speed +5 to ally during their combat and restores 5 hit points to ally after their combat. The start of combat. If unit's AP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants attack speed defense res +5 to unit during combat, reduces damage from foe's first attack during combat by 40%, and restores 5 HP to unit after combat. And also, if an ally is within a cardinal direction of unit, grants an additional +4 spectrum to unit during combat. Okay, so compared to Triandra, I know Peony's buffs, her supportive buffs, are a little more difficult to work with. Like attack speed +5 and 5 hit points healing after combat is really good. It's a great thing to have. The tough part is just actually lining that up, because it's just cardinal directions. You've got to get things on that line, and it's tough to work with, honestly, tough to work with. But she does seem like The rest of her weapon is built as a far more combat-oriented dancer than Triandra was because, well, to begin with, Spectrum +5 is the same, but she also brings that up to Spectrum +9 if she has an ally in cardinal directions, and she has built-in damage reduction in the weapon itself. Keep that in mind. She also heals herself 5 hit points after combat, so it's really pretty similar in terms of benefiting from her own supportive effect there, except obviously she isn't within cardinal directions of herself, so she actually has to have it baked into her weapon, but she gets that. Her special dance, because again, of course, she is a dancer, is the Tender Dream. Grants another action to target ally. Grants attack speed defense res +4. Unit can move to a space adjacent to any ally within 2 spaces, and Canto 1 to target ally and allies in cardinal directions of unit and target ally, including unit, for 1 turn. And standard dance restrictions apply. So pretty similar to Peony's base kit dance, but just expand on the functionality a little bit by applying Canto 1 as a status as well. So if you want to just canto around everywhere, well, guess what? Now you can. Just run around the place. Fun, don't you think? Well, yep. Yeah, that's more or less all I can say about it. In the A slot, we have Attack Speed Unity, which is, kind of a weird pick for Dancer, but she is kind of attack and speed focused, I guess. And honestly is just one of the best attack and speed A slots out there, so I mean, I don't blame her. Debuffs just get thrown around a lot these days, so Unity them. Yay, more stats for me. In the B slot, Rock Slide Dance 3. If Sing or Dance is used, enables Canto 1 on unit and grants speed defense +6 and dodge to target ally for 1 turn. These dance 3 skills are pretty juicy, I tell you what. The Firestorm dance we got was already very great for the whole desperation thing, but Rock Slide Dance says, hey, what if we could apply dodge as well, so it's a more supportive dance for your speed-based tank units to get that extra 40% damage reduction as a status. Noah feeling kind of sad here. Well, he's not completely outdated because he applies it at start of turn, so you can potentially do Citrian shenanigans with him. You can't do Citrian shenanigans with this, but aside from that very specific case there, this is still a very great way of finally being able to apply dodge to the unit you want dodge on without having to use up their C slot for speed smoke 4. In the C slot, speaking of, we have Cross Spur Speed. Grant speed +5 to allies in cardinal directions of unit during combat. Normally the Cross Spur skills I think are pretty sad as far as C slot skills go. But that being said, this is Peony. She is applying things in cardinal directions anyway, so you may as well run a Cross Spur on her, right? Right. And in the X slot, whatever that means, or maybe it's the Chi slot. You ever think about that? It'd be the Greek letter Chi. You know, like in Kingdom Hearts. Key. Is it key? I don't know. Bloomin' Egg. At start of turn, if units within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack +6, and unit can move to a space adjacent to any ally within 2 spaces to unit for 1 turn. You know, I think Peony got a way better end of the stick on these skills. Gonna be completely honest. Triandra's one was Deathblow 2, right? Not even Deathblow 3. Deathblow 2. 4 attack and only on player phase. This is half of an 04. you're getting one stat, sure, but the important part is you're getting the orders effect. Just you're getting it. It's yours now. Have it. Enjoy. There's a big difference, right? Like, oh, well, admittedly, again, we don't know what the X-Slot does yet, but that feels just way better to me, and I'm sure you agree as well. In any case, let's see Peony kill something with an axe. Beautiful. Love it when she does that. Story chapter. Who is our extra unit going to be? That looks like, I've forgotten what they're called, one of Sonya's sisters. Is it Hestia? Or is it the other one? Well, you know who I'm talking about. It's them. There they are. Hello. And oh, I find this funny as well, because we ought to check, right, this is a new hero type. After this summoning focus ends, these new heroes will continue to be available through future summoning events. Exception, Sonya, Beautiful Mage, Triandra, Reverent Dream, and Peony, Cherished Dream may or may not appear in a summoning event held in the future. That, my friends, is 3 out of the 4 units on the banner. When they say these new heroes will continue to be available, what they mean is Mycen will continue to be available. Oh, the silly buggers. Well, in any case, are you going to tell us what Attuned Heroes do, or am I going to have to wait for a bloody FEH channel about it? No, here we go. Attuned Heroes carry special attuned skills. You can inherit attuned and other skills from an attuned hero without them leaving your barracks. It's going to be done once for each attuned hero in your barracks. So kind of like Rearmed then? Except it's the only way you can get X-Slot skills, is it? Because it looked like they were inheriting an X-Slot skill there. Okay. Or, well, I'm tempted to say not okay, because that seems kind of sad, honestly. Because now every hero has a whole new slot that can only be filled with attuned skills, as far as I'm aware. And because, you know, I was thinking there were a lot of cool things that they could potentially do with attuned skills. I was thinking, like, maybe make an engage type mechanic where, you know, the extra slot is filled based on the attuned hero you have on your team, so you just need to include them in your team building, and it's kind of like a special team-wide buff or something, maybe. I don't know. But this, I think, is... like, my ideas probably weren't great, but this, I think, is worse than all of the ideas I had. At the very least, they don't seem particularly crazy strong, the attuned skills, although knowing Faye, that is probably going to change within the course of about 3 months or so. But yeah, all of your builds are now incomplete. You have an empty slot and you have to summon to fill it. Good luck, guys. That being said, I probably am going to spark on this banner at least once, just to get a Peony, just to be able to put that oath on Citrine, because I love Citrine, and being able to give herself, whatchamacallit, being able to give herself, I've forgotten what it's called, orders, an orders buff, while still also having her C slot available, honestly fills out a huge amount of opportunities for then making more complex builds with funnier stuff on them. So I'm excited for that, at the very least. Even if I think this is overall a terrible decision. I thought it was kind of exciting when we got, like, the fancy green X slot, but now it's like, kind of sad. That being said, if you want to go wild on this banner, apparently there are 3 sparks on this one. Probably not going to use all 3 of them. I'm probably going to use exactly one of them and then dip out, but because all of these units, aside from the whole these are the only way of getting attuned skills, these units are, I mean, they're not terrible units, don't get me wrong, but they do seem to me like kind of average units, like nothing crazy going on here units. I think Triandra is maybe the better supportive dancer of the 2, but Peony has the better inheritables. Mycen is a lance cav, and Sonya, I guess, actually might be kind of useful for all you green tome lovers for that, and has some very good inheritables as well. So I think Sonya possibly the most globally useful unit on the banner, whereas the 2 fairies are only really super useful if you need a new dancer, or if you're specifically looking to fill out your X slots. Well, in any case, let me know what you think of this banner. Let me know if you're summoning for any of these units. I'm probably grabbing a Peony, but I'm not like insanely excited about this banner, unfortunately, which is a shame because I've kind of been saving up some orbs recently. Oh well, there'll be a mythic soon enough. I'll just roll on with that. Thanks everyone for coming along. I have been Penros776. Your likes and subscriptions are always appreciated. And with that, Penros out.